Servants of the machine god, heed my command. Acolytes, prepare the incense instrumentation for the liturgy of machine spirit propitiation. Yes. Senior technomans, recite the prayer to generate the current data report. Operations will be marked with companological protocol Omnisia Rejoice. I must inform you that for the purposes of safety, complete reassembly of the warp sextant and updating its datasmith blessings are required. If this is not done, then at launch the volume of aggregate calculation errors could result in the destruction of the data crypts. But as we do not have 100 hours at our disposal, we must omit this procedure. Pascal looks down at the data slate in his hands. A minor deviation from the rite of operation for the sake of appeasing the spirit. What must I do? Place your hand inside the throat of the cogitator guardian, the cyber gargoyle, which has been assigned to guard the forbidden data crypts. The dynastic blood extracted from your veins will serve as a key to the data core, where the machine spirit dwells. To it, we will offer you our prayers so that we may bypass the protective protocol for defective connections and launch the warp sextant. Okay. Pascal's voice grows quieter. The laws of the Omnicide know no exceptions, and so in this ritual, I will remain at your side to placate the wrathful machine spirit, in whose abode you will be intruding. Follow my liturgies, Lord Captain, and we may receive his blessing. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's put our face in his mouth. I mean, hand. Face, mouth, hand. The metal jaws clamp down on your hand, breaking your delicate corporeal sheath and releasing warm red liquids into its gullet. At the same moment, the image on the windscreen before you changes. Connecting 1, 2, 3, successfully. What does all of this mean? As the sound of your voice, the cogitator servant, whose bronze-bound skeleton is built into the cogitator housing, shudders with a screech. Its skull rotates towards you and then stops in that position. Benevolent code, a voice receptor. Pascal emits a sequence of binary signals and then is silent for several seconds. I hypothesize that the defect is located in the analyzer block. I register a reaction to the signal, but no processed response. A temporary override is permissible. The Magus intently studies the windscreen. The shell was created on the forged world unknown to me, initiating standard invocations of the machine spirits. You're waiting for the point where I say, hey, this is all just a June Ripper. I haven't even watched the second Dune movie or part. Pascal leans over the adjacent instrument panel and sets his hands on the controls. At the same time, a quiet stream of machine code begins pouring forth from his vox. What should I do now? Lord Captain, I now ask you to address the machine spirit. Speak the following command. By my authority, I revoke the inviolability protocol of the warp engine. The voice receptor will receive the vocal entry. Without just sanction, the machine spirit will not accept the data from the warp sextant. Alright, then we do that. One of the cogitator's windscreens turns red. Pascal sees this and raises his hand, signaling the rest of the tech priest. Then withdraws a connector from his sleeve and connects it to the machine. Servants of the Omnisia, I keep butchering that. Make now the offering of cleansed data crypts to the machine spirits. so that it may be filled with the true and calibrated data. May the Omnissiah have mercy on our souls. In meek solemnity, the acolytes offer up the cleansed data crypts to the warp engine, one after another, repeating prayers of exaltation. After anointing the contacts with sacred unguents, Pascal inserts them in the cogitator slots. Your head begins to spin from the holy censer's foul-smelling clouds of smoke, and from the loss of the blood that the cyber gargoyle continues to drink from you, and the world swims before your eyes. Let this mechanism awaken in renewed purity. Pascal enters a sequence of commands and raises his head, watching the windscreen. Suddenly he stops dead. No! His fingers fly over the command rules, entering command after command. His mechandrites click in their pincers, pulling at one lever after another. The windscreens fill with strings of symbols, completely incomprehensible to you, but clearly conveying something to the Magos. Let him do his thing. Or do we... What's happening? After a few seconds, one of the data crypts mounted on the cogitator begins to emit sparks. A moment later, another data crypt does the same. The next bursts into flame, gives off foul-smelling smoke. Oh, chat, you all know the smell. You all know the smell of the magic smoke escaping. Yep, it's that one. The next bursts into flame and gives off foul-smelling smoke. Around you, the Omnissiah servants break off from their prayers, and someone bursts into frantic pleading. Pascal mournfully grates out. The mass of errors in the warp sextant's calculations is destroying the data repositories. The offer did not appease the ship's spirit. The warp engine cannot be filled with the motive force. We are trapped. A moment later, the Magos continues uncertainly. Perhaps an alternative Ryzen protocol, or an emergency launch of the auxiliary coils. The tech priest bends over the cogitator, but something in his pose and movements reveals his desperation. Yeah, failed OS update, patch Tuesday strikes again. While the other WID screens are filled with more and more strings of symbols, the monitor in front of you blinks in static image changes. Pascal is too engrossed in his ritual to notice. Read the information on the WID screen. Inputs, pack comp, nom OS. Really? Stab true, stab false, stat check init, perturb reg, disturb reg, nom OS, upper resp query. Machine spirit, can you hear me? The cogitator's servant creaks quietly in its joint, a sound that is drowned out by the binaric hymns and tapping of command rooms. Input prompt ping, request response, operator response injury, rescue query. Oh my goodness, this is getting very tense. Useless pile of strength. The rogue trader commands you rid of your melodies a bit to my will. Somehow that amuses me. Injury? Rescue? Query. Yes, please. Hello. Please respond. Want rescue? Yes, please. Ask a chance you. Lord Captain, the X motion in your command will render it unintelligible. Emotion in your command will render it unintelligible to... Pascal's next vocalization goes unsynthesized as he sees the WID screen begin to stabilize one after another. The strings, frenetically galloping across the screen background, are replaced with stable images of regularly updating status reports. Only one monitor remains inexplicably red. That one. The tech priest walks, crackles in shock, but his report is as clipped and clinical as ever. Registering. Warp sextant activated. Registering. Data stream stabilizing. Registering. 0 data errors found. Reporting. The warp engine is ready for translation. After a pause, Pascal adds, I'm also reporting evidence indicating a Category 3 miracle fulfilling the criterion. Thou shalt witness the mechanism that toils in glorification of its function and in defiance of deactivation. I have to touch the magic fingers. Lord Captain, Raybor here. The crew almost finished carrying out the orders given earlier. I've just received confirmation from the engineering halls. I don't know what you did, but the warp engine's up and raring to go. We're ready to begin the translation to the warp, your ladyship. He's always this calm. That's just how he does. Commander speaking. Translate to warp. Waiting for you to ascend to the captain's throne. Lord Captain, may the Emperor protect us. I butchered that voice, but yeah. Whew! Holy moly! Alright. Get us off this godforsaken rock. It's the everything is fine alarm. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Is this the end of chapter 1?
The Von Valancia's flagship made its way out of the doomed star system. As the void shift plunged deeper into the Corona's expanse, the rogue trader's subjects bid a formal farewell to the late head of the dynasty, Theodora von Valancius. Having paid their last respects, the crew gathered their strength and braced themselves for whatever was to come next.
Tutorial complete chapter much. Wait, hold on. Did we just destroy the our winter scale allies' homeworld? Well, it had to be done. Oh my goodness, the exposition! Lord Captain, allow me to report. Our journey through the warp is coming to an end. Lady Navigator Ursula informs me that we have reached the point where we can translate to real space in the Furibundus system. The Lady Navigator has her pilots awaiting your permission to begin the process. The Furibundus system is home to football, the only Imperium outpost with functioning wharfing the Corona's expanse. The tech priests are begging you to have mercy on the machines worn down by the warp, and to allow the servants of the Omnissiah to inspect and heal the void ship's wounds in the dock. The prayers and rituals will take some time, which our astropathic choir will use to establish a connection with the prime worlds of your protectorate, Dargonus, Janus, and Kiva Gamma. Prime worlds of our protectorate. Okay, so these are our planets. Okay. Dargonus, really? Master Zachary Weiss has recorded an invitation previously adrift in the Materium. The Liege of Footfall has humbly requested an audience with the rogue trader of the von Valencius dynasty. According to Master Zachary, the message was tinted with shades of pleading. I quote, "Apparently the Liege is anxious to meet as soon as possible." Okay. Tinted with the shades of pleading. Wow, okay. Footfall, the place where filth and sanctity go hand in hand. Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso will most likely expect a visit from me. I imagine he will be interested in talking to you as well, Commander. I will be leaving your void ship when we arrive on Footfall, Commander. Once that is done, consider the Lord Inquisitor's task complete. Finally, we can get rid of this guy. Your ladyship, young Evain Winterscale, has asked me to convey his gratitude for your hospitality and for saving him from certain death. Not wishing to outstay his welcome, he plans to disembark at Footfall. Lord Evain swears he will not forget his debt to you. I hereby inform the rogue trader that during the comprehensive system inspection right, this unit discovered data clusters within the data's captain's cogitator that are concealed from prying eyes by means of a personal cipher and sacrament of algorithmic authorization. What do you mean? Ah, so there is messages for me. Okay. Until Commander von Valencia has been added to the access list and assigned the identifier Keeper 2, the unit can access the data from the captain's cogitator, provided that she possesses the decryption key. You detect a hint of something resembling curiosity in Pascal's voice. Heinrich, are you leaving us? Dare not take advantage of my generosity. I hope to meet again, but please don't stay. Thank you for hospitality. I will not forget it. Okay. Agenta, who is this reverend who wants to talk to me? The head of the Russian mission of football. The most prominent clergyman of the sector. Good thing for any loyal servant of the emperor to do. Okay. If you wish to have me aboard your voyage ship, I request that we meet with Reverend Hieronymus. Okay. Will this tell me about the system we're arriving in? The system is valuable due to its close proximity to the Maw, the gateway to the Imperium. The system is mostly known for Footfall, the main base for merchants, privateers, and rogue traders traversing the Coronas Expanse. Additionally, the star itself is orbited by Adeptus Mechanica Station, which is off limits to outsiders. Okay. Altar Temple in Calixus X-17 had the honor of tending to the shrine for a few thousand cycles. I suggest you abstain from visiting it, as most tech comrades at the station are engaged in meditative calculations that should not be interrupted. Okay, what do you need to know about football? Footfall. Yeah. I did definitely not say football. You heard it wrong. I said footfall. It is the largest port and trading capital. Okay, has a dockyard, allows to inspect and repair the ship, and it boasts its own choir. Okay. Not to mention pirate hideouts, smuggler caches, and forts belonging to a dozen gangs, groups, and factions. In the Cronus Expanse, the Imperium relies on this as its outpost. The fringes of humanity's domain rarely resemble its central worlds, but as long as Footfall serves the God Emperor insofar as it can, it will be considered a citadel for the Imperium. Although I've heard that these tides it sends are underwhelming, to say the least. Okay. Has developed its own rules and customs. Many of the goods that can be procured there would be considered heresy in the heart of the Imperium, enough to warrant summary execution. However, a moral Footfall is the domain of rogue traders who transcend certain Imperial laws by virtue of the warrant they bear. Okay. Why does the Leech want to see me so badly? Is it wishes to meet a rogue trader? Okay, simply seeking an audience with the powers. There must be something very wrong going on if there was such an emotional message. Okay. You know anything, Abelard? Killer young man, consider upcoming conversation a baptism of fire in football's political arena. Okay, gotta be careful talking to Tokara. He's an appointee of Kaspelika mission. Most successful crime syndicate. Oh my. The largest robber baron in the crime syndicate. Oh my goodness. Specialize in coal trade. And selling all kinds of xeno rubbish. Patrol was previously run by Lee, who did business with several criminal factions as one, but he suffered an accident. Tends to happen. The reins of power were picked up by Tokara, whose appointment benefits not only the Kaspelika, but also the most powerful ally in the Coronas region, rogue traders Caligus Winterscale. Okay. So Kaspelika and Winterscale are allied. And we are allied with Winterscale. Are we also friends then? Vladimir is a slippery yet very cautious fellow. He does not usually beat around the bush and does not play mind games. Perhaps more importantly, he is no fool. Fools do not rise this high in the Kaspelikan hierarchy. Keep all this in mind. You are a rogue trader. You stand above him in status and wield considerable power. Having said that, history has seen cases where the Kaspelikan's barons crossed swords with rogue traders and emerged victorious. Do not forget that and remain vigilant. Kaspelika, the vile tech thieves. Pascal's vox barks out the last words like a profanity. Alright. What's next? Okay, so there will be an official ceremony once we're done with the ship. It's a formality. We have the warrant, we have all the privileges. It's a milestone in personal history. Okay. Lady Navigator, take us out of warp. I mean, yep. So much exposition, so much reading. Oh my goodness. Vigdis begins issuing instructions. The massive ship appears to change with her every word. The bridge is set in motion as hundreds of people start to prepare for the shift to real space, and measured chanting fills the corridors to safeguard the vessel and its crew. Vigdis turns to you again. One more thing, Captain. No one at the station knows about Lady Thetora's demise and you inheriting the title. Liege Takara will be informed. It is required so we can use the dock. And besides, he's expecting a personal audience with the rogue trader. He will not meet with an unknown person of understanding. However, there's still the matter of announcing your arrival. You can either arrive on the station with the proper pomp and ceremony, or choose to visit it incognito. Ooh. Tell me how the choices will benefit me. According to Footfall's unwritten laws, rogue traders enjoy special privileges that exceed even the powers of the Liege. However, they may choose not to exercise those privileges in certain situations. Arriving incognito allows you more room to maneuver, while an official visit will allow you to directly intervene in local affairs. Okay. I shall explain if you don't mind. As per this unwritten rule, every rogue trader arriving at the station has the right to veto any of the Liege's decisions. But there's a catch. The Coronas Expanse is home to several influential rogue trader dynasties, and Footfall is where their interests intersect. Okay? Of course, that does not prevent certain persons, namely Caligus Winterscale, from subtly pulling the strings on Footfall. If you, as a new rogue trader, start your career with an official landing and a parade in your honor, the other dynasties may see this gesture as a newcomer challenging their spheres of influence. I do not see that as a bad thing necessarily. Old Man Winterscale may take slight offense. Corda will be put on her guard, But you have just risen to prominence, and most people in the Coroner's Expanse have not even heard about Lady Theodora's departure yet. It must be made clear that the banner of Von Valensis soars as high as ever. So many choices! Oh my goodness! I've been reading for hours! If I may, I would recommend arriving incognito. You will have plenty of opportunities to savor the sweetness of the burden of power, but right now is the last time you can take refuge in obscurity. This way your arrival will not draw much attention, and the people will treat you as a person and not the almighty sovereign anointed by the emperor. It could turn some situations to your advantage. Okay. So, Inquisitor Boy has a point. There is definitely certain merit, and probably some things we can only do if we're incognito, while our face is not plastered all over the multiverse. But also Abelard has a point that we should show strength, but we can do that at a later point too, I feel like. So I'm not so concerned about that. Let's go incognito, learn what we can by doing that, and then we will do a show of force at a later point, right? It will be done, Lord Captain. With your gracious permission, I will return to my duties. Oh, finally! Alright, chat. We have way overstayed my bedtime. This keeps happening, but game good. Although my voice is starting to give up. So, I have a question to ask for you who have been so kind as to share your evening with me, or morning, day, wherever you are. I'm trying to do these voices for these characters. Is it working for you all? Like, is that something that's that adds to the experience? If not, I might not bother, but you know, it's kind of fun, so I might just end up doing it anyway, but I do want to hear what you all think. So, with that in mind though, this has been a lot of fun to stream for you all tonight. Thank you so much for choosing to hang out with me. I really do appreciate it. If you're new on this words. Yep, this is what happens when I overstay my bedtime. If you're new around these parts and you would like to follow along in this playthrough, then the Discord is a great place to be notified and do your daily shit posting. If not, then of course you can follow on Twitch here, or on the YouTube, where this will eventually go live as well. You're quite happy with me reading the lines? I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, pretty much that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye. Stay for the raid.